On 31st of May this year, 2024, the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka made perhaps one of the most important historic judgments which could have lasting impact if the authorities as well as the public take proper notice of the decision in this important case. The case was relating to an incident from Imadua police station where a group of policemen visited the house of a man with the view to take him into questioning. However, the needed suspect was not at home, so the police, instead of the man, got his young wife, 21 years old, who also had an infant she was taking care of, in a van, together with also the man's mother, and brought them to Colombo for the purpose of getting at the man. The essence of the case was that there was no allegations of any sort regarding this young wife for her to be taken from a home with the infant and at night and kept in custody for nearly 12 hours for the sole purpose of getting at her husband. While there are many details about this case, it is not the various versions that are given by the police as excuse that matters, or the version given by petitioner, who was the wife of this man. But essential aspect is about taking, instead of the suspect, somebody from the family, in this case the wife, and it is important, significant also in this case, with an infant child, and keeping them for the sole purpose of trying to get at the suspect. It was this that the court examined in detail in terms of three violations relating to detention, arrest, at the same time violations restricting the movement of this young wife and of course the child. The significance of this case is that the court, I think in one of these rare judgments, has concentrated its effort more on the liability of superior officers who were directing this operation and found them to be responsible for violations of the rights of this lady, and further they are also ordered compensation to be paid by the two superior officers who were directing the operation and who were supervising the operation and was responsible for the operation. The two officers were first the 13th respondent in this case, Neville Silva of the Colombo Crime Division, and also A. Methanand, the Chief Inspector of the Colombo Crime Division. Important part of this judgment is the findings of the court, which are expressed in following: all superior officers vested with the supervisory authority have a special duty to make certain that their subordinates act within the bounds of their legal mandates. Superior officers cannot give orders or instructions to investigate and thereafter fall asleep on the wheel. It is their duty to closely supervise and scrutinize the conduct of those officers placed under their supervision. Now in that paragraph, the supervising officers' duties relating to their subordinates in order to ensure that the subordinate act only within their legal mandate. Now, this is from a Sri Lankan context, enormously important emphasis, because very often there is some kind of a practice or belief that once you are engaged in a police duty, you can do whatever you like in order to achieve the orders that you are supposed to carry out. The idea that officer has to act purely and only on the basis of their mandate and they are simply limited by this is very much forgotten concept in Sri Lanka. Therefore, the importance of this judgment that it is the duty of the superior officers to ensure that those who are acting under them are well instructed and supervised to see that they act within their mandate only. They just do only what the law allows them to do and nothing more. What is important is that that duty is cast on the superiors. The superiors don't have the right to say, well, the inferior has done, the subordinate has done something wrong, the subordinate is responsible for that, and I am not responsible for that. And that has been the usual kind of practice, even in many of the cases that have been decided in the past. The lower ranking officer is often held responsible. However, the one who directs the operation, one who has the supervisory capacity for directing the subordinates, are being discharged of any obligation. The result is there develops the practice where the superior officers give very often wrong and even illegal orders which subordinates carry out, and if they get caught, it is the subordinate officers that may be found fault, if at all, and the persons who are directing the operation goes scot-free. I think if this matter is addressed, many of the violations that are so often complained of about the behavior of the police throughout Sri Lanka could be brought under a very serious control if the conduct of the superior officers are brought within their mandate and also their obligations of being responsible to see that the law is strictly followed, not only by them but also by their subordinates. Many of the subordinate will fall in line. it will be a very rare person who will go outside the scope given to him and act against the wishes and the direction of their. This brings us to a very important issue of the need for a code of conduct for superior officers. Almost all regulations, all codes and regulations within the police are about the subordinate officers, mainly to the officers in charge of the police station and who are below that rank. The officers such as the ASP, SSP, the IGP, the DIGs, regarding none of these there are any real codes of conduct developed within Sri Lanka. Even the disciplinary processes are only relating to the lower ranking officers. If a higher ranking officer either directly engage in committing wrong, even committing crimes or violations of human rights, there are no regulations or other measures developed in order to hold them responsible. They are as if above accountability. Whatever that may be happens only among themselves, and this is a big vacuum that exists within the Sri Lankan policing system, which need to be closed. It is the superior officers that are really responsible if the system has gone so low as this. Blaming the inferior level doesn't stand up to common sense, even looking from the point of view of any other employment. The very idea of supervision, having a certain ranking, is to ensure that those who are of a higher rank controls the operation and make sure that the operation is conducted according to the manner it should be conducted. And in this particular instance, since the matter is about the law and the rights of the public and also the individual citizens, it is even much more paramount importance that those who control the operation are being controlled. I think this case has touched the core of the problem of the Sri Lankan policing, and therefore it needs to be subjected to further public discussion and a demand rising from all concerned persons that consensus be arrived at in developing a strict code of conduct for superior officers within the police station. From that point of view, the three judges who had given this valuable judgment has rendered an important service in pointing to one of the major problems which is facing not only the problems relating to individuals whose rights are violated, but also on the issue of rule of law. The major culprits against the rule of law are the superior officers of the police in Sri Lanka. If they are brought under proper discipline, the entire system will function much better, not only for the benefit of the law, but also for the benefit of the economy and society.